do not play about my car safety, bro. You have so much more of a chance of something happening to you inside of a motor vehicle than other walks of life that I am super on point when I get inside of a car. No cap. No cap. Y'all can clip it. I don't even care, bro. My booty be clenched up in bad drivers' car seats, gang. I ain't gonna lie, bro. Welcome back to the Stanley channel, man. Today it's gonna be me, it's gonna be chat, and we are reacting to a video for the one, the only, the homie, CarDown, how swimmers can afford their cars. Swimmers, not like this one, not this version of swimmers. Swimmer like cutting up in a car swimmers, okay? I think that's very important to make the distinguishment because I thought they were talking about Michael Phelps, and they were not.
Ever wondered what keeps the CEOs of car rental companies up at night? Is it the price of gasoline?
Right.
Maybe that one time someone returned a car with a goat in the back? Nope, probably not. But here's a hint. It involves a bunch of 17-year-olds in stolen cars. Still not ringing a bell? Well, today we're going to dive into a topic that has become a major concern for car rental companies. The trend of swimming. Now, you might be scratching your head. Swimming? Are we talking about synchronized car
that's what I said.
routines in a giant pool? Not quite. But we're talking about a certain energetic style of driving on our public roads. A way of navigating traffic that, shall we say, isn't exactly in the drive.
Bro, this don't be giving me anxiety every time I see it, bro. I'm not gonna lie. Like, I don't know if you saw the little box up top right here, up here a second ago, but I literally got a chill down my spine.
Manual. It's a spectacle for sure, but what's the big deal for rental companies? You might think, hey, they're a big business. They surely have some kind of insurance, right?
Facts, K.
And you'd be partially correct. But what happens when those insurance policies start looking thinner than a supermodel's patience? What happens when cars come back looking like they've been through a demolition derby? Repeatedly. That's where our story really begins. So, let's get into what this swimming thing actually is. Imagine a vehicle, often something with a bit of pep in its step, respectfully, or perhaps not so.
But how do they just keep renting it? Are they using fake IDs and fake insurance policies? Like, aren't insurance supposed to be like attached to your name and things of that nature? They shouldn't be able to keep getting vehicles after being offenses and for offenders of these things, right? And I assume them running traffic, maybe they're not doing that under traffic lights, but I would assume that you're able to tag these cars. Even things like if you do what is it? Progressive safe drive miles, you get what I'm saying? And they monitor the cars for the insurance and all that. Things like that helps you understand what the person is doing, like with the car and things of that nature. Wouldn't you also be able to use that to make sure that they're not doing this crime more than once? I don't know.
Respectfully, making its way through congested highways with a level of, let's call it, enthusiasm. We're talking about quick lane changes, white lines, utilizing every available gap, and generally experiencing the road in a way that might raise an eyebrow or two for your average commuter. It's certainly a way to get from point A to point B. Eventually. Now, why would car rental companies, whose entire business model revolves around people using their car,
they changed the serial number and license plate? Word? Whoa, I didn't know it was that deep.
Have an issue with this? After all, isn't that what cars are for? Driving? Well, yes, but there's a slight difference between a leisurely drive to your grandma's and, well, a more spirited exploration of a multi-lane freeway. And this brings us to the question, why on earth do these rental companies even end up handing over the keys to individuals who might engage in a such reckless act of driving? It seems counterintuitive, right? They have valuable assets, and they surely want them back in one piece. You might be thinking, surely they have some kind of screening process. They check IDs, they take credit card details, they can just refuse service, right? And if something goes wrong, they'll just charge the customer.
Right.
Well, if only it were that simple. Buckle up, because this is where things get a little scammy. The truth is, getting a rental car for someone intending to engage in swimming can be surprisingly easy, and it often boils down to
How is that physically possible? It seems like such an easy thing to pass. Time Lord was good.
Good old-fashioned deception. Car rental companies do have procedures, but they're not foolproof, especially when faced with determined individuals. One common tactic is the use of fake identifications. With the technology available today, and no, I am definitely not talking about the dark web, creating a convincing fake ID isn't as difficult as you might think. Swimmers might use these to rent cars under a false name and persona, making it incredibly hard to track them down later. Another method involves third-party rentals. Someone with a clean driving record and legitimate...
But who's gonna be stupid enough to go do that? I mean, shoot. If they throw me a couple bands, on some shit, man, like, shoot, how much? Maybe like, throw me a cool little 15 racks. I ain't gonna lie. You're right. The Lord knew to stop me from saying what I was gonna say because I was gonna inspire the youth poorly. And what I was gonna say is, throw me like a calm 15 racks. Calm 15 racks. You could mess up my driving record for 15 racks. Calm 15 racks.
Legitimate identification might rent the car only to hand it over to the swimmer. This creates a layer of separation, and the rental company might have no idea who is actually behind the wheel.
Okay, not to dox you or nothing, but what state do you live in? You sound like you be dealing with swimmers a lot. You're literally either in New York, Atlanta, Houston, Florida. That's all I could think of. You might be in the DMV too. Chicago. Nah, Chicago. Frig. If you gave me more, if you gave me more time, I would have got to Chicago. Actually, you're right. Chicago should have been my top 5 before DMV. You got me. Chicago makes sense. That makes sense.
During those high-octane highway escapades. But sometimes it's even more blatant, with organized scams targeting rental companies. These could involve using stolen credit.
Detroit, Michigan. Michigan is the... Come on, bro.
Card information, or exploiting weaknesses in the company's online booking systems. The goal is to get the car into the hands of the swimmer as quickly and with as little traceability as possible. However, it's crucial to understand that these are just potential scenarios, and they don't apply to every single driver in this scene.
Right.
There's a whole community out there beyond the well-known figures, and each person probably has their own unique way of accessing these vehicles.
Right.
Pinpointing one exact method is difficult. The only certainty is their consistent ability to make it happen. So, the rental companies, despite their best efforts, often find themselves unwittingly providing the very vehicles that will soon be starring in the next viral swimming video.
That's all I need.
They're essentially being scammed out of their cars, one rental agreement at a time. All right, so the swimmer now has the car he wanted, but what happens next? Well, I think the videos speak for themselves.
This video is so insane. Drifting around an officer is by far one of the most insane things anybody could do.
I'm on that block, it's just me and Nina. Caught up like any fast on his feet. I'm on that block, it's just me and my
Bro, I'm so anxious. I'm so anxious.
I'm steady trapping on top for a eater. Cause I gotta get back to the...
We see these drivers pushing the limits, navigating traffic with a level of risk that would make most insurance agents spontaneously combust. But they're not going in unprepared. They often take measures to...
I don't know why Stan's acting like this. He literally drives like this in Houston. Tyler, I need you to stop spreading false information. I am an extremely safe driver. I follow the speed limit and flow of traffic. I am very safe in the city. Tyler, you did not feel endangered a single time while driving with me, and I want you to tell the chat that. I need that PR. Thank you so much.
To ensure their own anonymity and avoid those pesky traffic stops.
Wow, Stanley SMAs. Tyler, look what you did, bruh. Foul. That's a flag. Also, tell them niggas. Tell them I'm a good driver. Tyler! He does drive great, y'all. I still have to take you out. You know too much. You shouldn't have trust me. I got a gun to your neck. Why would you trust me? I literally have a gun to your neck in GTA. That's your fault. I literally up blick on you. Why would you trust me?
Stops. First and foremost, concealment. You'll often see these drivers sporting helmets, masks, or even full face coverings. This makes it virtually impossible to identify them from the videos, or even if they were spotted by another driver. It's really all about staying faceless and untraceable. Another common practice is to simply remove the license plate.
Right.
Why have something on your car that can
I be seeing this all the time in Houston, though, I'm not gonna lie, where I drive safe at, by the way.
easily link it back to the rental company, or worse, to a potentially fake rental agreement?
Right.
Off come the plates, further adding to the anonymity of the vehicle. But what exactly happens when these swimmers do happen to spot those flashing blue and red lights in their rearview mirror? Well, let's just say they're not exactly pulling over for a friendly chat. Running from the cops becomes part of the spectacle, adding another layer of risk and, unfortunately, excitement for some viewers.
Bro.
It's a high-stakes game of cat and mouse on public roads. So, the swim session is over, the video is uploaded, and the viewers are shaking. But what about the poor car rental company?
Shaking, I'm back here twerking. Damn near. I'm not even in the seat and my booty jiggling. Bro, when I tell you this is one of the scariest things that you could ever put me through, I do not play about my car safety, bro. You have so much more of a chance of something happening to you inside of a motor vehicle than other walks of life that I am super on point when I get inside of a car. No cap. No cap. Y'all can clip it. I don't even care, bro. My booty be clenched up in bad driver's car seats, gang. I ain't gonna lie, bro.
Do they even get their vehicle back in one piece? The answer, unfortunately, is often a resounding maybe and probably not. In some cases, the car might actually be returned, perhaps with a few extra miles and a suspicious smell of burnt rubber
No, for
or
real, I don't
marijuana.
play about car safety. No, come in my car and put your seatbelt on. Yeah. Take your foot off of my dashboard, okay? And don't you dare lean your head forward when I'm trying to turn, bro. I'm a push your. I knocked my headset off.
Marijuana. But in many other instances, these vehicles come back damaged, often extensively. We're talking about everything from minor scratches and dents to full-blown body damage,
That's
blown
crazy,
tires,
bro.
and engines that have clearly seen better days. Remember, these cars are often driven to the
didn't twerk.
absolute limit, and the wear and tear can be significant. And then there are the worst-case scenarios where the cars are never returned at all. They might be abandoned on the side of the road, stashed away in a garage, or even end up being involved in accidents and impounded. For the rental company,
didn't care
this
to
means
say
a
that.
significant financial loss.
4K.
But let's talk about the money now. If a rental car comes back looking like it went 10 rounds with a monster truck, do the rental companies get their money back for the damages?
Sure not.
This is where things get even more complicated. If the rental was secured with a legitimate credit card and the driver didn't take extreme measures to hide their identity, the company might have some recourse. They can try to charge the damages to the cardholder. However, this can be a lengthy and often frustrating process, especially if the damage is extensive or if the renter disputes the charges. But what happens when the rental was obtained using a fake ID or a stolen credit card? In those cases, the rental company is often left holding the bag. They've lost their car, it's damaged, and they have no way to recover the costs.
That's almost
It's a
too
direct
easy.
financial hit to their bottom line. So, what can car rental companies do when they find themselves on the receiving end of this swimming epidemic? And to be honest, it's a tough situation. They can try to strengthen their verification processes, invest in better technology to detect fake
You don't love me,
IDs,
semicolon.
and work more closely with law enforcement.
Semi-loca.
However, as we've seen, determined individuals can often find ways around these measures. They can
Right.
also try to pursue legal action, but this can be incredibly difficult and costly, especially if the identity of the swimmer is unknown. And even if they do manage to track someone down, recovering the full costs of the damages or the lost vehicle can be a long and arduous battle. This brings us to the interest.
And you can't have that much money if you're doing something like this. That's another thing. You don't do something like this when you have a lot to live for. You got a loving family, multiple thousands, M's in the bank. So off rip, you're already fighting a losing battle if you're doing, like if they're going up against somebody who's doing this. I don't know how people find the thrill in this. Me either, man. Six Flags is literally free. It's not free. It's actually, shit, it might cost more. It might cost more. But yeah, you can literally find thrills any other places in life, man.
Car rental companies have their own insurance policies, but these policies often have deductibles and limitations. If a car is damaged or lost due to illegal activity, the insurance company might be hesitant to pay out, especially if there's a lack of a clear digital footprint linking the damage to a specific individual.
Right.
This is where the swimmer's efforts to remain anonymous really hurt the rental companies. If there's no clear evidence of who was driving the car during those reckless stunts, it becomes much harder for the rental company's insurance to cover the losses. Now, a question that's probably on a lot of your minds.
Yeah.
Why can't the police just trace down the specific vehicles in these swim videos, identify the car, track its ownership, even if it's fake,
right,
and then bust the whole operation?
Right.
It sounds logical, right?
For sure.
See the car, find the guy, case closed. Well, as you might have gathered by now, it's definitely not that simple. Remember all those layers of anonymity we've been talking about?
I do.
The stolen cars, the rented vehicles under fake names or through third parties, the removed license plates. All of that is specifically designed to prevent exactly that kind of straightforward tracing. Even if a crystal clear video shows a specific car swimming, linking that exact vehicle back to the individuals orchestrating these events is a monumental challenge for law enforcement. They're dealing with a deliberate effort to obfuscate and disappear, making that direct line of investigation.
Ooh, obfuscate. That's a good one. What's good,
Incredibly
IMG?
difficult to establish.
We about to end though.
Ultimately, the relationship between car rental companies and swimmers is a classic case of cat and mouse, with the rental companies often finding themselves in the unenviable role of the mouse.
Right.
They're providing the tools for a dangerous and costly trend, and they're often left to pick up the pieces, both literally and financially. It's a situation that highlights the challenges of operating in a world where anonymity is increasingly easy to achieve, and where the allure of online fame can sometimes outweigh the real-world consequences. So, the next time you see one of those swimming videos, spare a thought for the car rental company who might be watching with a mixture of fear and a rapidly dwindling profit margin.
I'm not gonna lie, the things that I would do to stop a car swimmer who ran into me, bro, I would look like Batman, Superman, all things combined before I let a swimmer hit my whip and get away with it, bro. I'm not gonna lie, I'm putting my life on the line. If you guys enjoyed the stream, make sure you like, comment, subscribe. I'll catch y'all in the next video. Bye. Peace.